Hello managers and a very warm welcome. Here we go. The long awaited end of season review of the Just Tinkering the Nose FPL League. With 2 Champions Leagues, a Chin-Up Cup, it's not over till it's over cup, 10 Manager of the Month awards, overall season high score and low rank awards. There's individual achievements including the 100 Club membership and the lesser desirable Fingers and Toes Club. And the outstanding question, did we have a high five gang this year? Let's find out. So throwing all of our minds back to the start of the season that's just finished, we saw the graceful exit and the handover of responsibility to a new order, or the defence of this seemingly indefensible, never has a retention of any major award in the long history of the Just Tinkering League. Our defenders, last year's winners for the 23-24 season, as follows. Top 5 was champion Kinder, Badger in second and third 2024. Haven't Jota and Upthorpe were close with no cigars. Champions League 1 and 2 saw Jota win both in a very successful season, and the leader at halfway, which was also Jota, but that's now been replaced by the Chin-Up Cup. And the end of season cup has been renamed as the Not Over Till It's Over Cup. So enough nostalgia, what were we playing for? A top 3 position. 2 chances at a Champion League glory, the Chin-Up Cup and the Not Over Till It's Over Cup. We had 10 Manager of the Month awards to muddle through, and the best for 1 week, the high score record 164 by me, and the low rank record 208 by me again. Not forgetting the Royston Spoon, and for representing the league in the worldwide competition, the last man standing, simply the longest lasting team in the overall knockout competition. Jamie getting down to the round of 512 in 23-24. Following up with some league statistics, 26 members of the 100 Club and 39 over 100 scores across the 24-25 season in total. 1 hat-trick of centuries, a turkey, and that happened game week 24 through to game week 27. But that team didn't win Manager of the Month. The most 100 plus scores in the season was actually 3 this time round. Our first winner to celebrate is in the Challenge Cup. We had 10 entries, nothing more than a top spot would do in a winner-takes-all competition. It really left 2 teams with the stamina and determination to be fighting it out at the last. But our winner by 29 points was Athletic. Steve Wasden, congratulations! So on to Champions League 1 groups, as you can see on the screen below. Quick reminder of how this works. It's 14 match days, that's home and away round robin. Groups 3 and 4 have a bye where an active team will win by default, so reassuring to know that you'll always have 6 points. Let's see how it panned out. Bar the bottom 2, a very close league. Upthorpe taking the group win, Dalton and reigning champions Eze through to the playoffs. No promotion from the top group, of course, but relegation for the Lodgers. How very, very disappointing. I kept faith with Harlan, my downfall. But I was also joined by Every Now and Ben and the Full Monty, and they'll be playing in Group 2 in Champions League 2. Group 2 saw the Doctor top of the shops, but only just as a tight thing, with all 3 qualifiers with 9 wins, separated by points scored. Quite incredible how the games panned out for Badger, last year second overall, but qualifying having scored 122 points less than 1 point. Come on, Seattle joining the 2 of them in Group 1 next time around as well. Down the bottom, Callum, Wawa and Bison were all relegated. A stronger top 3 in Group 3. Group winners, Singapore with 11 wins, Polish with 10 wins and Pez with 9 and a draw. 2025 remain in Group 3. High scorers in the group, but an unkind draw leaves them 4th. AC McClaw, Worrell and Ben's Blues all relegated. Group 4 had equally a strong top 3, Thank You Love and Dougie with 10 wins, Hockeys with 9, and they all qualify and earn promotion to Group 3. Like in Group 3, 4th place Go As On Me were the group top scorers and scored 118 more points than 3rd place Hockeys, but they didn't go through. No relegation, but not very athletic, were not very good and finished bottom. Top half and bottom half of the draw, illustrated on the graphic, had a playoff stage, a Lucky Badger progress, as do Seattle, Polish and Dougie. So progressing through to the round of 8, top half of the draw, and the roller coaster came to a shuddering halt for Badger, drawn against a form team and Group 4 champions Thank You Love. Much closer in the father and son matchup, Dad John scraping through by a point. So that means Group 4 winners against Group 3 winners in the semi-final in the top half of the draw. Round of 8, bottom half of the draw, 1 point anchors, that's champions of Group 2 are out. Polish Expresski in the bottom half of the bottom. Upthorpe Massive progress, beating Dougie. Thank You Love Group 4 winners with a win in a high-scoring game over Singapore. They were Group 3 winners, promotion being little consolation to Singapore. In the other match, Upthorpe with a surprising loss to Polish. And that left us winners of Group 4 against second in Group 2. All the neutrals really supporting the underdog in the final. Surely the dream will happen and a Champions League winner will come from the bottom group. I know you're on tenterhooks. I've done the build-up with both teams promoted, a campaign well done, but there is only one winner. Just 5 points in the game, a valiant effort by Polish, but quality shone through. Michelle's first major trophy in her second season, winner of the Champions League 1. Thank you, love. So it's time for a breather and a review of our first half Manager of the Month award winners. 1 point were in September, and that's always nice when you know you're a paid up member for next season after 3 game weeks of the current season. Samba won in second, Pez in October, and curiously only won Manager of the Month for October last season. Kinder won in November, and Thank You Love in December, and a nice little double with the Champions League trophy already on the mantelpiece. Which is quite a dated phrase considering modern interior decorative trends and a progressive movement away from having open fires in the home. Moving on. And all of those stats contributed to the overall halfway league, as you can see below. Samba lead from Was Athletic and Thank You Love were in third. The top 10 completed by Kinder, Dougie, Singapore, Seattle, Polish and Bison in 10th. So replacing leader at halfway this season is the Chin Up Cup for those wallowing in doubt and self-pity on their management performance. A chance for redemption, a reset button, some hope of glory and the possible for one lucky manager, a content feeling of being a bit of history in the Just Tinkering League. I know you all remember the sophisticated and auditable draw wheel, but focusing on the cup, this is how it panned out. Wins for Wawa, Polish Bison, Kinder Worrell, AC McClaw, Clueless, and they joined in game week 3. They weren't eligible for Champions League 1. Upthorpe, Singapore, Thank You Love, 1 point, who had a bye. Jenks, the Full Monty 57, Ezzy Does It, Go Ezzy On Me, and Dougie. They were through. If you didn't hear your name, you didn't. That random draw continues throughout the Chin-Up Cup, and that saw a few formed teams fall by the wayside. Champions League 1 finalists both out, with Upperthorpe and Bison progressing. Joining them go Ezzy on Me and Ezzy Does It, Worrell, Dougie, 1 point, and Kinder. The round of 8 saw a super close game between Ezzy Does It and Upperthorpe. Ezzy through by 2. Kinder comprehensively beat 1 point. Worrell and Dougie also won. Into the semis, where nobody remembers the losers. Worrell and Dougie through, both scoring 61. 2 others consequently lost. So this is definitely Dougie's first appearance in a major final, given it's his first ever season with us. As it happens, it's their only one after resignation over the summer. For Worrell, Cup semi-finalists in 22-23 season, their first final also. And it was a high-scoring affair, with both teams netting over 100 points. Leaving the league in profit, the Chin-Up Cup champion, Dougie Splitter the Dog. So as a consequence of promotion and relegation, the Champions League 2 groups looks as follows. In Group 1, that's Badger, Seattle, Dalton, Ezzy Does It, Kinder, 1 point, Upperthorpe and Was Athletic. Group 2, Every Now and Ben, Jenks 11, Pez FC, Polish, The Lodgers, Samba, Singapore St Lingers and the Full Monty 57. In Group 3 was 2025, AC McClaw, Bison FC, Callum's Hawks, Dougie the Dog, Hockey's Heroes, Thank You Love and Wawa. And finally in Group 4, Ben's Blues 57, Clueless as Hell, their first Champions League, joining us in week 3. And now eligible for Champions League 2. Go Ezzy on Me, Not Very Athletic, Smalley Stalwarts, Strummerville FC and Worrell Wanderers make up Group 4. So in Group 1, a tight league with both the top 2 finishing with 9 wins, but Kinder a far superior score. Seattle in second and Was Athletic in third with 8 wins. Dalton and Badger retain a Group 1 membership for Champions League 1 next season. Going down are Ezzy Does It, Upperthorpe and 1 point. Upperthorpe and Ezzy both in the top 3 in Champions League 1, 1 point promoted in Champions League 1. The top 3 in Group 2 were quite secure in their qualification, Samba edging the Lodgers by 4 FPL points. Polish ended up 5 clear of Singapore. Singapore were Group 3 champions since Champions League 1. Every Now and Ben, alongside Singapore, will stay in Group 2 next season, dropping down to Group 3, Full Monty, Pez and Jenks. It's Bison that takes the top spot in Group 3 with 30 points and a total score of 1,000. Thank You Love and 2025 both finish on 27 points. Champions League 1 winner Thank You Love secures second place with a higher total score of 981 compared to 2025 966. Chin-Up Cup winner Dougie the Dog is in 4th place with 21 points. Wawa and AC McClaw both finish on 19. Wawa ranks higher 5th due to a significantly higher total score. Dougie and Wawa retain their Group 3 status. Well, Dougie would have done if he was playing next season, but he's not, so there's a little bit of shuffling around to do. But joining AC McClaw in Group 4 is Hockey's Heroes and Callum's Hawks. Dominant leader Strummerville FC stand out of Group 4, accumulating an impressive 36 points and a total score of 134. Solid second were Worrell Wanderers, secure the second place with 30 points. And Ben Smalley with a mid-table tie with Go Ezzy on Me, both of 24 points. And Smalley Stalwarts take the 3rd place due to a significantly higher total score at that FPL points. And it's the first time that Smalley has actually qualified in any of the previous Champions League competitions. So well done, Ben. Well done. Clueless of Hell, they finished in 5th place with 21 points. Not Very Athletic and Ben's Blues finish off Group 4. Now a quick interlude to Champions League 2 progress to celebrate Polish's Last Man Standing award. Now, the last man standing is the best performance in the FPL Overall Cup from our Just Tinkering League, flying the flag, so to speak. Christoph was beaten in game week 22. That's the round of 131 and 72, which realistically is flying a rather limp flag for the league, and we're all to blame because none of us were any better. But a win is a win, and the record books will have Polish Expresski as the last man standing for the 24-25 season. That's your interlude over. Back to Champions League 2, knockout stages next. So starting with the playoffs and remembering the top half and the bottom half of the draw as the graphics suggest, and they will take us through to the final. In the top half, Thank You Love and 2025 go through. Smalley's first taste of Champions League knockout finishes in defeat, and he was knocked out. The bottom half see Rogers Dodger Lodgers, and in a very tight game, Seattle going through to the round of 8. Thank You Love's hopes of a Champions League double go up in flames, defeated by the reigning league champions Kinder, and double defeat for the Amsterdam residents. Yes, we are an international league, with Samba out to a century score from 2025, setting us up for a reigning league champion against 21-22 league champion in the round of 4. Seattle didn't turn up, and Bison, they were runners-up in 21-22, deservedly secured victory, the second highest score of the round of 8 overall. Rogers Dodgers Lodgers took the win over Strummerville. So the round of 4 was a low scoring round. The battle of the past league champions, however, was super tight, both Kinder and 2025 ending up with 38 points each. Both level on goals scored, Kinder progressed courtesy of conceding one less goal. Equally tight in the bottom half of the draw, Rogers Dodger Lodgers through by 3 points, his first Champions League final. Yeah. The final would see a new Champions League champion. Neither Kinder nor the Lodgers have progressed this far previously, with very little to separate the two, many of the neutrals supporting the underdog. Kinder at this point also fighting it out, defending their league title. But the Lodgers were not concerned with being favourite, and ignored the noise and fanfare around the underdog Kinder as a big day approached. But as it happened, the underdog prevailed, a 9-point win over the Lodgers, and Champions League 2 winner for 24-25 season is Kinder Mumbueo. Just excuse me a moment while I compose myself. It's still hurting. Right, anyway, moving on. Some further mini celebrations with the remaining of the Manager of the Month awards. Laurel in January, the Lodgers took February, Singapore secured March, and Samba with a very strong final run saw them take April and May. Wow. Anyway, consolidating an excellent performance with 6 of the game weeks this season, Strummerville also added the highest weekly score by any team this season, 148 in game week 24. Kinder's Champions League 2 winners also pick up the low rank award, that's 7,210th. Neither of them threatening the all-time best performances coming in 22-23 season. By me. Top score, 164. Lowest rank, 208. That's 208 out of millions. Great record. So where we have Paul, manager of Strummerville FC, receiving his £20 hard-earned dollar and prize money. When you look in the background with advisors such as those three, it's surprising he's not favourite for their league next season. For all those who did win something, didn't supply a photo, that's our loss and equally your loss as well. Well done, Paul. So there was 38 keys to the 100 club this season, just 5 teams not achieving a 3-figure score in any of the 38 game weeks. 2 teams with 3 100 scores, 2025 and Kinder had the turkey. Kinder achieved from 2024 through to game week 26 a hat-trick of century plus scores, a never done before achievement. Even more amazing, in the 4 game week manager of the month for February, game week 24 through to game week 27, Kinder lost out by 3 points to the Lodgers. What a bloody shame. Quickly running through those club members for the 2024-25 season. 100 club goes to 2025 Samba, Full Monty 57, Dalton, Eze, Does It, Was Athletic, Polish, Every Now and Then, Badger, Lodgers, Wawa, Clueless, Go Eze on Me, Bison, Dougie, Upperthorpe, Worrell, Smallies, Pez, Singapore, Hockeys, Strummerville, Seattle, Callum's Hawks, Thank You Love, and Kinder. And it is just Kinder and 2025 that had 3 centuries this season. Just 8 teams in the Fingers and Toes Club this time round. Thankfully, no entries for the High Five Gang either. Worrell Wanderers, Every Now and Ben, Come On Seattle, the Full Monty 57, Ben's Blues 57, AC McClure, Rogers Dodgy Lodgers FC, Badger Attack FC were all in the Fingers and Toes Club. But there is one just last little stat. It's just AC McClure and Ben's Blues were not able to achieve the 100 Club and Fingers and Toes Club double. Blimey, it's been a busy season already. The final cup of the season with the Not Over Till It's Over Cup, Notio, with 31 teams in the league. 1 lucky team gets a bye into the round of 16, and that's understandably must go to the chairman. Should be the law. But I didn't need the kindness of the Just Tinkering the Nose League managers as enabler. I just, by very fair means, had the top score. That was 91 after transfer in the game week previous, regardless of all the complaints of wah 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 blah blah wah wah. Let's run through the winners of the round of 32. Through are Go Eze on Me, Wah Wah, the Full Monty 57, Strummerville, and 1 point. And now I've got a very interesting stat. For this round, it was blank game week 34. Through Go Eze, Does It, Clueless, Badger, Bison, and Samba. And anyway, a few teams hadn't thought through the dangers of lack of planning for a blank game week. Also through a Callum, Every Now and Ben, 2025, Kinder, and Not Very. Now, of all the teams that went out, Genk, Seattle, Badger, Singapore, Polish, and Worrell all had no free hit left for this blank game week. In fact, Wawa, and that was against Chris, would withdrawn at this stage. Strummerville and Smalley, they were the only 3 teams that managed to get through and not having a free hit to navigate game week 34 and the blank game week that it was. On to the round of 16 in game week 35, and the draw is as illustrated on your screens. As the results flash up, I've pulled from the archives the weekly update. Just remember, Champions League 2 and Notio Cup are running in parallel. A tough week for Kinder out of the Notio Cup and loses top spot overall to a rampant manager of the month, Samba. He's 62 unmatched. Samba fighting on 2 fronts as we approach the close, but as are Kinder. The silver lining to the week for him was a victory in Champions League 2 by the skin of his pants. In Champions League 2 semi-final, 2025 and Kinder both ended up the game week with 38 points each. Both teams scored 1 goal each, so it was down to goals conceded. 2025 have Everton manager Moyles active with the assistant manager Chip. Kinder conceded 13 goals with Everton conceding 2. That tipped 2025 to 14 goals conceded, and Kinder go through. Bison FC and Rogers Dodger Lodgers FC also ran a very tight game, but not to the same extent. The Lodgers through to the final 43-46. Tougher still as Bison were knocked out of the Notio Cup by a tighter margin. But we've got to remember ourselves that we're just concentrating the Notio Cup here, so you can see who went through. No further diving in the archives. The quarters were drawn as on screen. Wawa against Clueless, Ezionmi against Samba, Strummerville against the Full Monty 57, and the anchors against Dalton Owls. What a game week! Doubting Wawa, always convinced the world is against them, was shocked at his 1-goal scored victory in the tie against Clueless. Manager of the week, Samba eased Pascal Ezionmi. Strummerville and Dalton both progressed to the semis with a 6-point victory. So it's Wawa against Samba and Strummerville against Dalton in the final four. Samba quaking in their boots. They were up against the See You Next Tuesday. You know what I mean? He's the biggest one of them. But Samba stayed strong and was certainly not out next Tuesday. Not this time anyway. It was super tight with Dalton a 2-point win over Strummerville in the other semi-final. So it's Samba against Dalton in the final. Dalton 5th overall and semi-finalist in Champions League 2 21-22 season. He's making history in 2025. Well, actually, in the cold light of day, they're both making history, but Dalton, it's a little bit more pertinent. First final, well done, move on. Although it was history, it was a runner-up for Dalton, and the roller coaster ran out. Probably the most polite and respectful final the Just Tinkering the Nose League has ever experienced. Samba, courtesy of a Salah captain, JB making the mistake of Saka as captain, and a late goal in the Liverpool game, and Samba eased past. Imagine a chauffeur-driven open-top limo overtaking a soft-top Jaguar 1950s XK120, and a tip of the hat, a respectful nod, maybe a little wink as he goes away, and onto the winner's podium to go Samba. Managers, this year's Not Over Till It's Over Cup winner, Samba. And before celebrating the top achievers, let's celebrate the underachievers as well with a Royston spoon. One of our junior members celebrates this success, and I for one feel any achievement is worth celebrating about. So well done, Ben's Blues 57. Now with big exams coming up in the 25-26 season, Ben is stepping back from the Tinkering League. I know I speak for us all, and we wish you the very best of luck for the A-levels, and you're more than welcome back, given availability, when you find the urge to tinker again. Best of luck, Ben. Good luck, mate. Not long left now, stick with it, we're nearly there. Alright, final 5. So in 5th place is Matt, that's Bison FC. Whatever you're going to be next season, whatever it will be. But you're comfortably in the top 1 million, which is always good season objective. If you're top million, you're top 10% in the world. Congratulations, Matt McClure, 5th. Steve was athletic, a very hard fought, but always a tough chase with the 3 teams ahead of you. In 4th, again, top 10%, which is great. Michelle, thank you, love. A devout Liverpool fan based in Amsterdam. The team name is a shout out to Klopp, who left Liverpool and left Slot in charge. And we all know how that ended up. Possible team name for the upcoming season, who's Klopp? Anyway, very well done, Michelle. Last season, a little bit of a blip, which is a very good FPL pedigree. Managers, watch out. Last year's champion in 2nd, and I for one is thankful he's seen his arse. Walking into our league, taking the title, but a come and no more, one of our own, knowing 2nd is also losing. And equally, to do a back-to-back, you would have likely been asked to leave the league. It's great to have a high standard competition. You've got to be a top 2% team historically to win this league, and to follow up with such a good season again, you know, applause all round. But reminding you one last time, you were 2nd and you lost, like the rest of us, to a very worthy Just Tinkering the Nose League winner. With a final score of 2,526 and a 34-point victory, like a 1,500 metre runner on the shoulder all the way to the final bend of the final lap. And boom, hitting the accelerator and glides past, leaving the rest in their wake. a high score of 136, and they made it a double with a century score the next game week. That's game week 24 to 25. But also a 25 and a 30 or 32 also tally as game week scores this campaign. However, his last 15 game weeks had one score below 50, 9 scores over 60, 6 of those over 80. And I'm very happy to announce Petter as this season's Just Tinkering the Nose overall champion. And let's also just celebrate, it's a double. Samra have won the Notio Cup and the overall league, also Group 2 winners and quarter-finalists in Champions League 2. Luke did the double Champions League 1 and Champions League 2 previously. We've also got a double with Steve winning. Well, that's it, we're done. Well done, winners. It all starts again in, well, less than 2 weeks now, Friday the 15th of August. I know some parents like me will be having fingers crossed for GCSE and A-level results over the coming weeks. Others will be focused on who's played a bench boost in game week 1. A new season, it's a new name, Just Tinkering the Nose League. The Chin-Up Cup and the Notio Cups continue, and equally will continue to have 2 Champions League competitions. Their champion, top score, low rank, all that sort of stuff as we've had and just reviewed. So I had a commitment to keep you guys informed of what was going on. I think I achieved that just through the WhatsApp group, but yeah, we've got the website, which is always good to just have a look at all the fixtures and the results and how you're getting on. So I do appreciate they're very useful tools, equally time consuming to pull them all together. So I'll do what I can, see how we go, and any questions you can always message me direct. So then, yeah, wrapping up, 25-26 season kicks off Friday the 15th of August. You can carry over up to 5 subs as we did last season. You will now get double the amount of chips, so a free hit, a bench boost, a wildcard and a triple captain chip for both halves of the season. You could sort of look at this being for Champions League 1 and for Champions League 2 perhaps, or play them all in one go for one of the cup competitions. So they'll leave the strategy absolutely up to yourselves. Other thing to note is we've got the African Cup of Nations, so that's from mid-December through to mid-January maximum. The kind people at FPL are going to give you a boost of transfers and will boost your transfer pot up to 5 in between game week 15 and game week 16, so you can play them for game week 16. So something to keep in your mind, maybe try and get rid of those transfers. Defender points potentially increase, and something else to look out for. Don't know all the detail, but defenders who do more interceptions and defensive duties get rewarded a little bit better for their efforts. So maybe less 1 point wankers to 3 point wankers. That's maybe the way of thinking about it. And what else is there to say? Just to say thanks very much for being active members of the great league. I thoroughly enjoy putting it together, even though it can be a little bit of a pain in the arse. Yeah, 10 days thereabouts. Get tinkering.